left, right, left, left. Right?
Yeah. I love that that's basic, you know.
That's
understand
basic.
what just happened.
Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. It's a mirror image pattern. Right, left, right, left, right, left, left. Okay? And once you get to the point where like that's
So you're just speeding it up. Show up. Yeah.
26 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So I teach her that. I'm like, you work on that. And she's like, okay, but like I want to play drums. I was like, just start right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. And then you can add in your foot to it. Right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. She's like, okay. So you work on that. I'll be over here, do that for 10 minutes, which is an eternity for an 8-year-old, right? So I'm listening, and it starts out like right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, and then it starts smoothing out. I'm like, she's getting it. And I'm listening to her do it, and I'm like, she's getting it. And then it's, and I was like, holy shit.
Oh, that's where she's at.
Yeah. No, in the first lesson.
Oh, wow.
She just was like, okay, Dad, I got it. Right? And I was like, all right, show me. She's like, right, left. It's like, okay. She goes, so I know paradiddles now. I'm like, no, you know a paradiddle. There's 26 of them. She's like, there's 26? I was like, yeah. So it's been cool working with her to teach her drums. And then also, 8-year-olds fidget, right?
Yeah.
Like they're high energy children, or at least they should be. If they're feral children, they should be high energy. So I'll tell her, hey, go play your drums, right? Because you can see her, she's like bouncing around. She's like, can I watch TV? No. Can I play on the tablet? No. Why don't you color? I don't want to color right now. We'll go read a book. I don't want to.
Spend some energy over there.
Go play your drums.
Go play
she's
your
like,
drums.
okay. And she does. And she's playing them well, which is cool at an 8-year-old level.
So you've recognized that she has talent.
Yes. I think she has a natural disposition to it, and then she can develop the talent.
Okay, right.
Yeah. So there's giftings, and then there's talents, right?
Yeah.
Giftings are something that when Yah made you, he baked into you.
Right.
That's who you are, right? And then talent is something that you develop over time. And when you stack talent on top of gifting, that's where you get virtuoso from, right? Like Niccolo Paganini. You ever heard of Paganini?
No.
You should listen to some Paganini on the ride home. It was the first rock star. The guy played violin. It was amazing. Now his dad, as a little kid, he had a 4-hour regimen that he would have to play, going through his scales. And his dad was a very talented musician as well. And if he made one mistake, he had to start over from the beginning. And so he got to the point where he owned it. And in fact, there's this famous account of Paganini. I think it was in the French court. Shows up to play, and he's just playing. He's playing your average neoclassical stuff, and people are like, oh yes, I have giraffes in the front yard. Would you like to go have a look? That kind of thing. And Paganini's like, this is gay. And so he starts playing faster and faster. Nobody's paying attention. And there's 4 strings on a violin. And so you play across the neck, right? From largest string to smallest string, low tone to high tone. That's where your scale's from, just like on a guitar or a bass. Well, you can also play chromatically, which is up and down the neck. Paganini gets pissed off, and he rips 2 of the strings off of his violin and keeps playing what he's playing chromatically, up and down the neck now instead of across the neck. And that's when people were like, oh, this guy can actually play. Like, he's actually good. And that's kind of like what put him on the map at that point. So, but Paganini was gifted from birth. His ability was baked into who Yah made him to be, but then he developed that talent as well.
That's a great correction, like giftings and talents.
Yeah. And the reason that I make that separation between those two, a demarcation between those two, is a lot of people will almost chastise somebody and go, well, you're just talented at that. Well, talent requires dedication to develop, right?
Yeah.
And so when you see somebody that can play guitar, play drums, play piano, and they're talented at it, even if they were gifted at it when they started, it required the discipline to develop the talent to get to the point where anybody else could appreciate it.
Yeah, you're disregarding 26 years
Right.
of effort.
Right. It's like, oh, you could just do that. It's like, well, I was born with the ability to learn how to
Nobody
do
exited the womb with the ability to do this.
that. Right.
It took a level of effort.
Right. So even if there was a level of predisposition there, it still required the dedication and the discipline to develop it into something that's noteworthy. So that's, or whatever it might be. Like all the skills that you have, you weren't just born with them, you developed them over time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's a great allegory to business, right? When you have a doctor, you go and see the doctor for a problem. You're not really paying for the doctor's time. You're paying for the level of expertise and that level of effort that went into going and seeing that doctor. So the doctor can take 30 seconds and recognize, oh, well, that's a fungus and not whatever. You want that. That's what you're paying for.
Are we rolling? Cool. One time, early on with my tree company, I got my ass in a sling. I bit off more than I could chew. And I think there were 11 big pine trees in White Lake, New York. And White Lake was one of these areas where doctors and lawyers from New York City would have their summer home up on the lake. And so there was an attorney there. And the lots are small because they're on the lake, but they have these all big mature trees around it. It's a beautiful area. And so I'd give them a bid to come in and take, I think, 11 of these big trees out because literally people's roofs would rot because no sunlight would get on the shingles and the roof would rot off of the house, right?
Because they were never drying out.
Exactly. And so I get in there and I've got most of them down and there's this one tree and it's like 110, 120 foot pine tree. And there's just no place to go with it. Like there's no place to put the pieces of this tree. House is here and boat house is here and cars are parked here and like
120 feet of tree.
Right. And so I called my dad. I was like, hey, you got a bucket truck? He goes, yeah, you need a bucket truck operator? I was like, I do. He goes, what are you doing? I said, I've got some trees to take down. And I had been climbing, right? And this tree, I climbed up it. I got about halfway up it, and I was brand new to this, and I'm looking around, and I'm getting the shakes, right? I'm nervous, which is bad.
Yeah.
This is like, do not pass go at this point.
Yeah.
Any input passes.
Involuntary muscle spasms.
Yeah, it's just going to be bad. Right? I'm not, and it's wisdom to know when you get to that point, like this is unrecoverable, okay? I need to just press pause, don't start, cutting tons of tree and, So I call my dad. And he's like, yeah, I can be out there. I said, I've got a bucket truck if you could just run it. He's like, okay. So he comes out there, he pulls in his pickup truck, looks at me, looks at the tree, looks at the truck, goes marching up the front steps to the house. Guy comes out, they have a little sidebar conversation, just body language, shake heads, shake hands, okay. He comes out and looks at me and goes, got a chainsaw? I'm like, I do. He goes, okay, give me a chainsaw. He goes, back that truck right up to the tree. So the tree's standing up like this, like bumper of the truck, like right to the tree. And he he hops in the bucket, fires that saw up, puts the boom all the way, straight up, like straight vertical next to the tree, looking at it, hops out of the bucket, just one smooth motion, jumps out of the bucket, lands on the edge of the bucket, is standing on the bucket, fires the saw up, makes a notch.
At the top of the boom.
Yeah, he's like 70 feet up in the air at this point, standing on it,
That dude's hard.
Yeah, man. Makes his notch, makes his back cut, and the top of that tree goes right in between the house and the boathouse. And he just jumps back in the bucket, ka-chunk, kills the saw, takes the boom all the way, puts it all the way back down on the ground, hands the saw to me, goes, think you got it from here? I'm like, yes, sir, I do. He goes, all right, I'll see you at the house.
Yeah.
And so I finish up. Guy that owned the property comes up to me and goes, I talked to your dad. He goes, sounds like you underbid this. So my dad had talked him into, I think, another $2,500.
Dang.
Yeah. And it was like, okay,
Sure.
cool. So I get everything cleaned up, my guys. I got a wad of cash, stick it in my pocket. And I get back to the house, and my dad's sitting there at the dining room table like this.
Yeah. Waiting.
Yep, just waiting. Cold Budweiser in his
Yep.
hand. He goes, how'd you do? I said,
Shit-eating grin.
I did good. He goes, awesome. Just holds his hand out. And I start peeling off hundreds. 200, 300, 400. I was like, come on, Dad. He goes, 500. I put $1,000 cash in his hand. I said, $1,000? $1,000? You made one cut? He goes, but I knew how to make that one cut.
Right.
And you called me. I was like, son of a bitch. Okay.
Yeah.
He goes, call me anytime you need a bucket truck operator.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure, Dad. Had $1,000 in an hour, but it was the knowledge that he had predicated on the experience.
Right.
Yeah.
You needed $1,000 cut
Exactly.
by $1,000 cutting operator.
Right.
Right?
Yep. A guy who could do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because if I had put that tree into that house, well, I would have been out of business.
With a ridiculous amount of risk that he assumed
Yeah.
as well.
That's a great point. Because he loved me.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he wasn't always great at showing it. But all right.